When it comes to the art of storytelling, few can do it better than Stephen King. His success began in 1974 with Carrie, and he has written more than 50 books, selling more than 350 million copies. For over 40 years, filmmakers have turned to King's library for inspiration.
King's classics include thrillers like The Shining and Misery, but he is also the man behind The Shawshank Redemption and Stand By Me. End of Watch is the final part of his best-selling trilogy that started with Mr. Mercedes. The book is published by Scribner, an imprint of Simon & Schuster, a division of CBS. First on CBS This Morning, we're pleased to welcome Stephen King back to Studio 57. Are you having a good time this morning?
Yes, I am having a good time. I met all my idols. I met Bob Schieffer. It's terrific.
James Corden.
James Corden.
Gail King.
And then your
your
King.
family, so you
also
already know
known
each
as
other.
Uncle Stevie at our house.
O'Donnell, yeah, that's right.
This is what USA Today says of your new novel.
Yeah.
Stephen King has a storied and sinister history of turning out beloved things against us, from cars to dogs and now gaming devices. So what about End of Watch?
Yeah. Well, End of Watch is the third book in a trilogy that started with Mr. Mercedes and Finders Keepers. And we were talking a little bit about McDonald's at the beginning of the thing. And I was coming up to South Carolina, and I saw a story on the news, local news, about a woman who had run her car into a line of job seekers at a McDonald's. This was at the height of the recession in 2008.
Yeah, job fair. So they
yeah,
went to
it
that
was,
job fair,
and
yeah.
her boyfriend's girlfriend was in the line, and so she went after him. And I thought, there's something here that I really want to write about. So.
And how
These
much,
three books. Yes.
And how much of your writing draws from some moment like that?
Almost all of it.
Yeah.
I'll see something and then I'll think, well, what if you added one other element? And if the other element isn't there, you're stuck. Maybe it just goes to the, the back file in your mind, but sometimes you'll think of something else.
Well, what did you see that got us Cujo? Where was that?
I had a motorcycle, and it wasn't running right, and I took it up to this guy's farm because he repaired small engines, and the motorcycle died in his dooryard, and this St. Bernard came out.
Wow.
This huge St. Bernard. And the guy came out, and the St. Bernard, like that. I mean, huge dog. And the farmer said, don't worry about Rusty, he's very friendly. And Rusty went for me. And the guy had an adjustable wrench, and he whopped it down on the dog's hindquarters. And then he said to me, Rusty must not like your face.
You see?
So
I
there it
just
was.
thought you were a very strange guy and had a very strange mind.
Thank you, Charlie. That's very kind of you to say that.
He ain't the only one that thought that either, Stephen, just saying. Wow, that's
Weird about
fascinating.
you.
Yeah.
No,
I wonder, did you see anything today, you don't have to tell us now, that is going to lead to a story later from CBS This Morning? We would really like that, except we all want to live. But see, this is the thing.
Oh, you all want to live. Well, of
yes,
course
we all
you
want to
still.
live. We all want to live.
And yet, in a story, that might not be possible, Gail.
But
And we don't want you sending us any heads in the mail.
yeah, but this is a crime fiction genre for you. That's what I think when people think about you. Normally, they think of horror and scary stories, but this is crime fiction. What's attractive to you about that?
Well, I've read suspense and mystery fiction my whole life, and I don't think that I could ever write an Agatha Christie type mystery where all the pieces are in place and you discover in the final chapter who done it.
Yeah.
But I like the Hitchcock idea. Hitchcock once said the difference between horror and suspense is horror is when a bomb goes off. Suspense is when you see the bomb under the table and the people are having a normal conversation and they don't know it's there and the time is ticking down. So
Stephen, isn't that? That's good.
you know in End of Watch who the bad guy is.
Yes.
And if you've read the other two, you absolutely know who the bad guy is.
Yeah, but
Well,
the bad guy,
the villain is this psychopath, this Brady
killer.
Brady
Hartsfield.
Hartsfield.
Yeah.
But in the book, you also write, quote, he's living like Donald Trump.
Right, yeah.
What's the comparison?
Well, the nurse who says that says this guy killed all these people, and he's supposedly in a vegetative state, and he's in the hospital, and he has a nice little roomette with a TV where he probably watches maybe the Today Show because he's the bad guy, okay? You understand what I'm saying? So,
Nicely done.
Thank you,
Nicely
yes.
done. Yep.
So-
and he gets
and-
massages and meals a day.
He does,
Yeah,
and he gets the mani-pedi and the whole deal.
Yeah.
And so he's the bad guy, and he's living like Donald Trump.
But you know, you've tweeted some very negative things about Donald Trump. Do you worry about, for instance,
Let's read what he tweeted. Yeah. He said,
where you said, congrats, Republicans, you're about to nominate a thin-skinned racist with the temperament of a 3-year-old. Do you ever get, he just even goes, yes, I did say that. Do you ever get concerned about alienating your readers who are also supporters of Donald Trump?
Well,
Charlie says no.
I have to say what I feel, and I'm very concerned about this election because I'm an American. And you know, I hate the idea when people come back and say, well, this celebrity said this or that celebrity said that. But at the bottom, we're all just Americans, and we vote, and we're citizens, and we talk about politics on Twitter the same way that anybody else does. I come from Maine. We have a governor who supports Donald Trump, and I've seen the results of that over the years, and I'm just very concerned about the election.
So you're not speaking from celebrity novelist Stephen King. You're talking from Stephen King, I'm an American and I'm concerned.
I'm speaking from my heart.
I gotcha.
Speaking from my heart, darling.
I got it.
Yeah.
I totally understand what you're saying.
Was Shawshank a departure for you?
Well, I never think about, well, it's got to be this or it's got to be that. There was a lady who walked up to me in the supermarket down in Florida where we spend winters, and she said, I know who you are. You're Stephen King, you write those horrible things, but I like uplifting things like that Shawshank Redemption. So I said, I wrote that, and she said, no, you didn't. And that was it, so.
That's great.
Have there been any books that have turned into movies that you thought, well, maybe that wasn't so good?
Yeah,
Like?
yeah.
Like?
sure. Oh, no,
But
you know,
Misery
my
you
mother
like.
said,
I like
if
Misery,
you
too.
can't say something nice, don't say anything at all, so we won't
But it's
talk
about
about
yourself.
children
Okay,
of the
I got
corn
it.
or
I
any
got
of
it.
those things.
I got it.
Stephen
Great to
King,
have you here.
always great to have you.
Could I ask about the bedtime stories you tell your children before you go? They're all grown up now, but I'm curious when they were little. What was a Stephen King bedtime story?
I used to tell them stories about Spider-Man and Batman and people like that, but stuff would always happen, like they'd be allergic to bee stings or something.
Okay.
They weren't too awful.
On that note,
We always like when you come, Stephen, really.
I always like to
We
be
like
here.
it when you
Wait,
come.
he's your uncle? Is that what you said?
Yes,
Uncle
yes.
Stephen King. Thank you for being
Uncle
I'll see you at
Stevie,
dinner
yeah.
Sunday.
Uncle Stevie. Okay. And End of Watch goes on sale today.